Hello, folks. I was asked just before this pandemic shut everything down to contribute to an anthology of essays by Buddhist teachers with the title Dharma Gates Are Boundless. And this anthology is being put together by Tonen O'Connor, who was the translator of Kodo Sawaki's commentary on the Song of Awakening that I keep referencing over and over on this YouTube channel. So I really want to do a good job of it, but I haven't started yet. And I thought I'd make this video and just kind of improvise a little bit for you all and see what I can say about that phrase, Dharma gates are boundless. And I don't know if this is going to help me write the essay or not, but we'll see. The word Dharma gate is a translation of homon, a Japanese word, which translates to exactly Dharma gate. And it is most famously used in the Bodhisattva vows, Dharma gates. One of the 4 Bodhisattva vows is Dharma gates are boundless, I vow to enter them. So this idea of a Dharma gate is kind of interesting because it implies that you have to enter into it somehow. And I think that's kind of the case for all of us. Let me just speak to my own life. I had no idea of the existence of Buddhism until, well, I probably knew it existed when I was, adolescent or whatever, but didn't really know what it was until I was in college and encountered Tim McCarthy, who did a class called Zen Buddhism. I've told this story many times. And from then on, I became kind of committed to this practice because I saw it as a way to deal with a lot of issues that I had in life. Existential issues about the meaning of life and what it was all about, and as well as just sort of day-to-day issues of my own kind of nervous skittishness and fears and these kind of things. It seemed like a good way, this practice of Zazen, to get into that. So I suppose my first Dharma gate was Tim, but recently, as things have been going on with this pandemic and stuff, I'm seeing that maybe this is also a Dharma gate in the sense that for me, it's made me kind of renew my own commitment to what I do, even though I don't quite understand what it is I do. When the pandemic first started, well, not when it first started, but when the lockdowns first started, I was trying to do a video every day because I could sense that there's a group of people, small group, but there you are out there, for whom these videos were important. And before that, I was kind of thinking, well, I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm just kind of saying stuff, and it doesn't matter. And I'm talking about this arcane philosophy that I don't know if anybody cares about. I always tried from the first book, Hardcore Zen, on to, the newest book, Letters to a Dead Friend About Zen, and all the rest in between, to make the case that this was a practical thing, that Zen was not just some kind of airy-fairy, pie-in-the-sky philosophy for intellectuals to kind of sit around and discuss all the time, that this was a real life thing. And now that all this stuff has happened, it's kind of occurred to me that there's a need for this. When we say Dharma gates are boundless, I don't like that word boundless because it sort of works poetically and it sounds nice, but I don't know if people understand it. When I first started hearing it, I didn't really get it. But I think it means they're everywhere. The gate to the Dharma is everywhere, in every situation, in every time, no matter what it is. Here is your chance to experience reality. And I've come to see my own position as this body and this mind manifest here in this place as part of a much larger project. And it's my duty to perform as well as I can part of that larger project. And I think that larger project goes on infinitely, and I enter into it each time I sit zazen, or each time I give a talk, or each time I do one of these videos, I am entering into that bigger project. When I see all the negativity that's going on now, I mean, it's been going on for a while, but it's so intense now with the media and everything. I think we need a counterbalance. We need somebody to come out there and say, no, that's not the way it is here. That's not what we're doing here. We're not here to wallow in negativity and fear. We are here to do something about it. We're here to do something about negativity and fear. And those people who are out there on the media feeding you more and more negativity and fear because, it gets them a paycheck, they're going against the real important work that needs to be done in this reality, in this place. They're going against the very reason for this, let's even call it a test we're undergoing to see how we do about that. And to me, that's a Dharma gate. That's a gate to what we need to do about this thing. So because of this pandemic, I've become more committed to what I want to do in practice, more committed to the practice itself, more committed to talking about it, to writing about it, to making it available to others. One of the things I keep meaning to say here is that I've got a tour scheduled of Europe, starting in September in Finland and ending in early October in England, and traveling through Germany and France, and possibly Austria. And I've decided so far to just keep everything on the books. I'm not canceling. I don't know if I'll be forced to cancel. Who knows how this thing is going. But for the time being, I'm keeping all those dates open and telling the people that I have every intention to fulfill my commitments to them if it's possible. And honestly, last year's tour was actually nice because Adriana came with me on part of it, and that alleviated some of it. But it was getting to feel like a grind, and I love talking to people in Europe about the Dharma and sitting with these groups and doing that kind of thing. But all of the work involved in getting there and traveling from one place to another, and where I stay, because I'm always working on the cheap and staying in people's houses and stuff like that, was getting to be a huge grind, and I wasn't liking it anymore, and I was thinking, well, I'm just going to retire from that and not do it anymore. And now that this pandemic has happened, and now that there's a lot of obstacles in my way to going on tour of Europe, I'm thinking I want more than ever to go on that damn tour of Europe. I don't want to promise that I will go, but I will promise that unless I have to cancel, I'm not going to cancel. And I want to do it more than ever. And this is a huge turnaround for me. It shows that when adversity comes up, the important thing to do is, well, fight against it. I don't like to say fight against it, because I'm always saying we have to accept reality. And somebody asked me this question about, they always ask this question, doesn't accepting reality mean being complacent? Like just saying, well, that's the way it is. Let's just roll over and take it. And I don't think that's what accepting reality means. To me, when it comes to the pandemic, I accept the reality of the pandemic. And I've told you a million times how very much I accept the reality of the pandemic. But it makes me want to work that much harder to do something about it, to make a real difference, and to not be part of this huge machine that seems intent on clobbering everybody it can and making them feel depressed and bad and fearful and like there's no hope. Well, fuck that. There's plenty of hope. There's plenty of reason to be optimistic, and I am not going to give up on that. And that is my commitment to you folks out there, and to Tonin, who wants me to do that essay. And well, I've talked for 10 minutes and I still don't have any idea what I want to do about the essay, but I hope this has been somewhat useful for you. I'm I'm going to keep doing these videos. I'll do them as often as possible. I'll get into as much depth as possible. Maybe that's what I need to do next, is do a deep dive into something. But whatever it is, I want to use this opportunity that's being presented to me in great adversity and a time of terrible fear and uncertainty, to do something that makes that better. And if you can do anything, any little thing, it doesn't have to be some grand gesture, but any comfort you can offer somebody, any pat on the shoulder, any it's gonna be all right comment, anything that alleviates somebody's worry or somebody's fear, do it. I think it's more important to do that now than it has ever been in at least my time on this planet. So thanks, and keep on keeping on. And as I have to say at the end of every video, I get supported by your Patreon and PayPal donations. I often feel kind of bad about saying that, but it's how I get my paycheck. And I really appreciate those of you who've hung in there and kept on supporting me. The donations are down a little bit, but not drastically. So everything is kind of cool as far as I'm concerned, which means that if you are feeling the hardship right now financially, just cut your donation or cut it down. It doesn't, we'll be fine over here with everything we got. And hopefully we're going to see a light come through the darkness sooner rather than later. I know a lot of people are working very, very hard on a solution to this, and if there's a solution to be found, and I think there is, we human beings will find it, and we will be victorious. So there you go. Hope you're having a good day. See you later. Have a good time all the time, which is, I think, the last line in the movie. This is Spinal Tap. That's why I keep saying it. Anyway, see you around later. Have a good day. Bye.
If I were to ask you what your philosophy of life or your creed, what would that be?
Have a good time all the time. That's my philosophy, Marty.